What's the point of meditation anyway? Why is it so important? We ask ourselves, how do we improve? How do we implement change into our lives? We ask those questions, and when the time to show action comes, we run away. Why? Because as Alan Watts says, the person that's going to be doing the improvement is the one that needs improvement themselves. And there we have a vicious cycle. If we want to change, we are the ones that have to do it, and that requires a certain level of responsibility, discipline, and accountability towards ourselves. It forces us to look at what's not working and take small steps each day to change that. To create the reality we see for ourselves is to recognize and understand that there are things operating in our lives that scream for an adjustment. Not only that, but you have to prepare for things that you're used to begin to fall apart. People, jobs, habits. Not everything and everyone can join you on your new path, and that's okay. The more conscious you become, the more you begin to vibe with others like you and dispel those that aren't. There's going to be people who don't understand what you're doing, and that's okay, because there's going to be people that will. The answers are truly within us, and meditation, when practiced, gives us the opportunity to cut through the mental clutter that our lower consciousness creates. That lower consciousness tells us that we aren't good enough, that nobody cares. It's bruised by an external environment that tricked us all into believing that we have no place in this world, when in fact it's quite the opposite. We are the world, and it's waiting for us to embrace and truly experience what it has to offer. What steps can you take today to become one with that self, the self that knows better, with your higher self? Satchitananda, that which is truth, consciousness, and bliss will forever be my motto.
Because you've got to make a move which will put yourself out of your own control into the control of a better. If you don't believe in the Christian kind of a God, you can believe in the Hindu kind of a God, who is your inner self. You see, you've got a lower self, which you can call your ego. That's that little scoundrelous fellow that's always out for me. But behind the ego, there is the Atman, the inner self, the inward light, as Quakers would call it, the real self, the spirit, which is substantially identical with God. So you've got to meditate in such a way that you identify with your higher self. Now, how do you do that? Well, you start by watching all your thoughts very carefully, watching your feelings, watching your emotions, so that you begin to build up a sense of separation between the watcher and what is watched, so that you are, as it were, no longer carried away by your own stream of consciousness. You remain the witness, impassively, impartially, suspending judgment and watching it all go on. That seems to be something like progress. At least you're taking an objective view of what is going on. You are beginning to be in a position to control it. But just wait a minute. Who is this self?